What happens when old dogs get up to old tricks? Is Millsy using bots to get his views up? Is Moka Blast up to his old tricks again after trying to erase a $300,000 debt? And what's all that about Lindsay? To answer this and many more questions, allow me to take us back to the beginning. Hello and welcome to Lawd Lukan. It's time to check in for an all-inclusive trip to the land of love after lockup. On today's show, Millsy gets a visit from the fashion police. Moka Blast, a.k.a. Lydell Birch, gives relationship advice.
The Western woman has been, infiltrated by social media.
Do I end up meeting Moka while he's in London? And I've got a thing or two to say about that Lindsay situation. All this and more right here on the Lawd Lukan channel.
Extremely charming. He love-bombed me.
Did he?
Yeah.
Good day, aloha, and namaste to you. Big loves to those who've subscribed, you beautiful people, and a bluefin toro to the lords and ladies of the Lukan Manor. Well then, mon petit pois, they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but what's equally as hard is getting an old dog to stop the tricks you wish they never learnt in the first place. First puppy to be pooping on the carpet today is our Millsy. Ah, good old Montana Millz never fails to underwhelm with his overstated abilities. Now he's decided to put out a fresh new album, which, according to his blurb, is self-written. Wow, and self-produced. Amazing. Intro. What? He managed to write and produce his own intro. Whoa, steady on there, Millsy. That sounds dangerously like you actually made it yourself. You don't usually hear people say that the album is self-written. You sort of imagine that that's a given for these smaller rappers because, creativity. It's like when someone makes their own film and has to try and make them sound really great by listing all the roles and putting their own name by them. Directed by me, edited by me, story by me, just said it's a fucking film by you. We'll figure the rest out ourselves. Now his new album, Roller Coaster of Life, 0 points for originality, is, according to him, a reflection of the highs and lows that shaped his grind and mindset. Wow, that's just like a roller coaster. Mind blown. See, it's that kind of legendary thinking that really sets him apart. Now, the video we're going to check out is called Eruption. Ooh, like a volcano, which is also a bit like his life. A load of noise and smoke, and most people aren't impressed with the outcome. It's also shot in LA, as you can see by the intro shot, which is here, by the First Street Bridge, a popular place for making super cool looking streety urban videos, like Grease, for example. We also had Ryan Gosling in Drive, Terminator 2 in near there, but slightly further up, and don't forget the unforgettable Buckaroo Banzai across the 8th dimension. Millsy even has a visual effects artist and live performance elements. Yes indeed, elements, not actual performances, elements of performances. Now does that mean we've got real instrument and genuine sounding vocals? Nope, that was really unnecessary though, wasn't it? To just say oh, like a normal person. We really didn't need it to flutter about the scale using autotune. No, I don't think anybody's particularly convinced that that's his actual voice doing that. I thought we'd had enough of that back when Cher wondered if you believed in life after love, or that supreme awfulness that Posh Spice came out with after the Spice Girls went extinct. See, even Dane Bowles looked at her like, what the fuck is that shit? I do wonder who's sort of styled him for this shoot. Those pink utility trousers are a delight, aren't they? Yeah, they might be pink. They've got lots of pockets, so that's really manly. Now, I think we could hazard a guess at who the wardrobe consultant was on this shoot, couldn't we? Begins with a J and ends in Are You Blind? It's not the best outfit that he's got on for this video, though, so if you're eating, get it down you before we get to that bit. Next, it's time for those live elements to make an appearance. And first, it's the pianist. Potato. It's like a high school performance where no one's bothered to learn the instruments, isn't it? First, we've got potato fingers on the keys. Now, I only know a little bit of piano, but check out that chord. Now, with the help of this virtual keyboard, we can get an idea of the beauty of that angelic chord that he's hitting. It's pretty much all the black keys in the middle, with this one little white key thrown in for good measure. Now, are you ready? Heavenly. You can hear the sort of resemblance of a chord in there somewhere, don't you? But I think it was luck rather than judgment. Then we've got Jimmy Flemdrix on strings. Yeah, I think he's seen someone play one once, but having 3 fingers on the same string isn't going to sound fantastic. Now, having played guitar for about 30 years, this is something I do have half a clue about. And just in case you wondered what charms are being emitted from that axe, it sounds something like this. Glorious! So let's put them together. Elements of stuff. Good job. I think Mills's air drumming was a lot more convincing. So he paid these guys to turn up and travelled the 4 hours it took him to get there, then paid a director, a film crew, an editor and a visual effects guy so that he could get Big Little Richard and Carlos Spanner to mess about in the background. The drummer is actually a drummer though and isn't too bad. He plays in a punk covers band. So he's probably the most legit person in the video. Oh yes, and I did say visual effects. And here's some of them coming now.
Hustle, fuck the star, fuck stay in your place. Fuck the dream just enough, but don't dream out of space.
Oh, that was good, wasn't it? It was like there's 2 Millsies in the same place. Whoa, how'd you do that? Although I would have noticed the award-winning visual effects if Millsy hadn't decided to get his man boobs out. Now, what is all that about? Leather waistcoat. Yes, bondage Millsy. Good job. Whose idea was that then? It's like in his video from years ago, called Tony. You know, the one with his ex in it. Oh, I wonder if this is why Juju insists on being in the new videos. Well, your ex was in the last one, so why can't I be in this one? In that video, he decides to go topless too. So, steady yourselves, ladies.
I got a 9, niggas know I keep it on me. What's in a million?
Yeah, I think maybe a bra would be nice in the next one. Now, there's nothing wrong with a bit of the old dad bod, but he does look like he's on his way to the Blue Oyster Club.
Hey, big boy!
And there he is, strutting his stuff in sort of, the weirdest outfit ever. It's like that game Consequences, where everybody blind chooses a bit of the outfit, and you have to see what you've won. The jeans and trainers were okay, yeah, they sort of go with the hat. But what happened here in the middle? It's like he had a fashion aneurysm along the way. And there he is, dancing about by the rather public 6th Street Viaduct. Probably a bunch of people walking about on the top, and they look over the edge. Oh, look, darling, they must be filming the new Police Academy movie. But the visual effects are slightly better than a Police Academy movie. See? Scary wolf thing. No idea why they need to whip out the old wolf face thing. Millsy was probably like, can you make me look extra cool? And the guy was like, I can do wolves. So Millsy was like, yep, stick some of that shit in there. But the next one isn't that bad.
Barrel is hot like a phoenix from the fire.
He totally shot the drummer. What did he ever do to you? He was probably the most capable person there. I also love the attention to detail. You've got Millsy's car parked back here, and then one of the equipment bags hanging around. Yeah, good job. Then Millsy does a little magic spell. Boo-loo-loo-loo-loo. Seeing that VFX guy was totally worth having. Well, still, at least he stopped using that bloody auto-tune.
When I step in the booth, it's a volcanic eruption.
yeah, all right, more like an arse eruption. I think they couldn't quite decide how to finish the chorus. Should he do the falsetto voice and go up an octave in pitch? Should he do a little bit of rapping? Or should they get Juju to do a weird sort of note thing? Well, the answer to that question was yup, and they threw them all in. Did you catch that Juju note? If you listen carefully, there's a little female voice tucked in at the end going, ooh. But what about the lyrics? We all know that Millsy's the Dickinson of raps. He puts the Poe into poetry. Well, he's more like the Tinky Winky of poetry right now. But marvel at this wonder of a lyric. This type of shit, how you gentlemen's bitching. Turn the flames up. Give them hell in the kitchen. So many fans, your propeller's missing. What? He's got so many fans, my propeller's missing. What's his fans got to do with my boat? Does he think the blades are called propellers? Some might call it an impeller or a rotor, but it's not a propeller. It doesn't propel the fan along the floor. Well, unless you buy it from Temu, of course. Maybe it's escaping his song too. But his message is kind of a weird mix of metaphor and boat references, and then it gets all political.
I'm going sorry, I ain't dealing with the government.
What was that? I'm going to have to refer to the lyrics for what he said there. I'm going siren, I ain't dealing with the government. Yeah, Comrade Millsy, take it to the man. As far as I'm aware, he's lost a propeller and got constipation. Probably why there was an eruption.
It's a volcanic eruption.
Did you see that shit? Now that's why you shouldn't use AI if you call yourself a credible VFX artist. First, Fat Albert loses some weight after the explosion and does some sort of weird stuff with his hat. Then the drummer turns into a woman wearing leggings. Then he thought his hat was some sort of crazy haircut. And then what happens to Mills's nostrils? Weird. Then the song thankfully comes to an end, but it kind of doesn't because they stick this slow bit in at the end.
Follow instructions.
Okay. Wow, that was a piece of work, wasn't it? But it's not what I think that matters, it's what the audience thinks that counts. That if you think that my video deserves a like, subscribe and a hype, then I would be terribly appreciative. Thank you very much. Anywho, the comments on this video are mostly people saying, ooh look, it's views from Lalu, or wow, I love this couple, or fire. Yeah, okay. So that proves they have internet in mental asylums. So let's look at the stats instead. It's had 684 views, about 10 of those was me, but check out the stats. Well, that's odd, isn't it? I've not seen views go up and then down immediately after. And it's not like you can unview a video. And it's certainly not like you had a load of bots doing the work for him. Hang on a second. Now, the only reason why YouTube readjusts stats like this is when it finds irregularities, like repeated refreshing, bots or suspicious activity, such as an external site that generated a burst of views that were deemed to be invalid. So we see here it had a little over 1,000 views after 4 days, then on day 5, it went back to 284. Nothing suspicious there. So I wondered if this was the same on his other videos. Here's the stats for his other rather popular video, Goofy, which has 77,000 views, which is a good number. But those stats are showing some pretty fearsome steps, aren't they? And there is some adjustment going on. In fact, if we look at his channel, we see him losing a few thousand here and here. But if we look at this chart, on these 2 days he gets almost exactly the same amount of views, and almost nothing at other times. So are we to believe that roughly the same 3,500 people suddenly decided to watch his video at the same time? Or is Millsy just buying views? Or is he getting someone to keep refreshing and watching his stuff? If you have normal organic growth, then your stats look like this. This is his video called Gangster Shit, which has pretty normal engagement and a nice fluid graph. But Goofy here has 0.8% engagement, which is generally a sign that the views aren't genuine. But if he's fiddling his views, who's he faking it for? The 4,500 subs? The only person he's fooling is himself, and surely there's no pride in seeing a half-decent number like 77k if you know that it's all fake. That it's not like the music industry is watching, is it? He's not even got one of those 5% Temu codes that they give to just about anybody. Now this video, Goofy, leads us into the next segment quite nicely. We see in the credits that it says thanks to Meek, the guy who mixed and mastered the music. Poor guy though, had to listen to this God knows how many times. And that it was made at FGC Studios in Las Vegas. A recording studio in Las Vegas? I wonder if that's got anything to do with, hang on a second, Moka steals your money off your Moka Blast, a.k.a. Lydell Birch. Birch, yes, of course, yes. Now the company is careful not to mention him on the website, it just mentions the Meek guy who is the engineer and producer, and some mystery staff person. But of course we know it's Moka because it says so on his LinkedIn. We would have even more info on it, but after my last expose on Moka, the romance scammer Blast, he deleted a bunch of stuff. But we do know that the studio is listed as being here, 621 South 10th Street, Las Vegas. It shares a building with Crown Wealth Management LLC, but there's no official records that connect the two entities. Crown is a completely separate business which has been registered since 2001, managed by a man named Eric R. Dodds. But we do know that Moka's business, FGC, or Forever Getting Cash LLC, has had a spot of bother with debt. In July 2024, he filed for bankruptcy due to his debt of $290,009.94 to Commercial Capital Loan Trust. Now, he wouldn't have got away with it too, and made that debt disappear. But if it wasn't for those pesky individuals at the Bank National Association who filed a motion to dismiss the case as Moka made no effort to handle his business. They cited technical stuff, section 112B, saying they had cause to dismiss it. In this case, cause means something like gross management of the estate. And in February this year, Judge Cox dismissed the case and it was closed, meaning that Moka is still on the hook for nearly $300k plus court fees. Good job. He does of course have another business which has been active for years, apparently. Aside from that barbershop, which I'm not sure is open or not. Google shows it as being there in 2023. Then this updated shot from a satellite shows to show signage with different colours on it, but it's not accurate enough for me. So if anyone watching is from Las Vegas, don't suppose you just pop along and have a little look for me, would you? Thank you very much. But it's not that business that I was talking about. It was, of course, Blast Off TV. Or Blast Off TV, registered here in Westchester, New York. This is a commercial residence owned by Taylor Rosales. It had nothing to do with Moka. The site I found this on said he made $64k one year, but this site just estimates the average based on location and other stuff, so that's not an accurate number. It could be more, it could be less, it could be nothing at all. So, what's he been up to? Well, he has been to Healing Waters, Las Vegas, where he pretended to know about boxing.
Put your foot right, no, put your right foot back. Stay right there. Now you want to be very light on both of them.
Now, he was just a guest there and has nothing to do with the place, which is cross-listed as colon hydrotherapy. Is that just a nice way of saying enema? Did Moka pop in to flush out some of the bullshit from his system? Well, good luck to them. You needed an industrial-sized hosepipe for that little lot. I did message them with a little sentiment, though. They're quite religious people, so I said, God bless you. And they said, love and blessings over you. Healing Waters loves you. God, that's nice, isn't it? I do hope they're the nice Healing Waters, not the up-your-bum waters. Speaking of bums and sending messages, as I was spooking around, I found a video of him on a podcast from 7 weeks ago. And the subject of the video was women and relationships.
When it comes to a woman, right, they always say they want to get married, but they don't know how to...
It's just an ideology, I honestly believe.
Can you imagine? Moka Blast telling it... In fact, I'll let you read my message, which says what I was thinking. That's crazy. A man like Moka Blast / Lydell Birch, who has a history of scamming women out of their money in various countries and being reported on in various news shows, talking about what women want. Women don't want a guy who'll spin you a story about being famous, borrowing money, and never paying it back. There we go. Lovely. But it appears Moka's made it all over the place. Here he is in Morocco with his new bitches. Here he is pretending to be a rapper in Thailand, shooting some sort of video-y thing. And here he is pretending to be a boxer. It's crazy how much stuff about him is fake. Even his education. He says he went to the university in Buffalo. But I've checked the state yearbooks, graduation programs, commencement programs, alumni directory. But I can't confirm or deny anything. And as it's LinkedIn, it's just self-reported info. So there's no knowing for sure what the truth is. Also, it's slightly offensive that a man who scams vulnerable women refers to me as classless. Well, excuse me, Mr. Romance scamming steroid using faker. You wouldn't know class if it came up and asked you to support a proper rapper on a European tour. Hang on a second. Dead Prez, the group who brought you the song Hip Hop. Can you believe it? Some proper rap on my videos. Anyway, for their 21st anniversary of their album Let's Get Free, they're doing a world tour. And who's that on the bill? It's only Moka Can I Borrow Some Money Blast. Blimey, how did he get on that bill? Sure, he's only a support and not a headliner. And he's way down there at the bottom. In fact, they may as well just have sort of gone and written on a post-it and stuck it underneath. But that's pretty good, isn't it? What do you think? Will that be followed by another hang on a second? Or is this totally legit and a proper group knows who he is and asked him to join them for their tour? Well, you know, the French bit at least. So, what do you think? Well, hang on a second. Let's just take a look at that tour, shall we? Just last month, November, they played here in the UK, a place called Leeds. And if you're wondering what a Leeds is, don't worry about it. No one here cares what that is either. They do a festival as part of the Reading Festival every year, but no one wants to go to that one. I suppose I should apologise in case there's any people from Leeds watching. But I doubt it, because, you know, they're all too busy being retarded. So the Dead Prez plays here, at a massive 300-capacity Belgrave Music Hall and Canteen. Wow! But why are a group that was so big travelling all the way to the UK to play in a restaurant that happens to have a dance floor and stage? And how much money are they making? Now, Moka wasn't the support for the UK part, but the answer to the question does come along in the French leg of their tour, the one that does have Moka attached. If you go to one of the sites selling tickets, you'll see that it's presented by something called Artists Audition, a live entertainment agency that promotes and books artists, and also run ongoing recruitments for supporting artists, giving them stage opportunities to work with established acts, and giving them a legitimate performance link to a proper band or group. The very same Artist Auditions that Moka performed for in 2019, where he pretended it was part of his global tour. Yeah. Check out this poster though, he stuck himself at the front in front of the other people. I wouldn't be so happy if I was them. In fact, he tagged them in this video. In fact, he tagged Artist Auditions in this video, in front of a massive crowd. Yeah, ooh. So he managed to slide onto the bill due to his links with that agency. And here's how that works. Artist Auditions will book a big group for a bunch of venues and then take between 10 and 20% plus booking fees. The group will then get a guaranteed fee, for example 5 to 10,000 regardless of the turnout. The promoter covers that fee from the ticket sales and keeps the remainder. In this case, support acts like Moka are often attached by the promoter at little or no cost because they add content and fill the bill. Dead Press don't care who's on their bill as it doesn't affect their income. Support acts receive little or no fee, but the promoter covers their travel and accommodation and gives them some staged time as exposure. Support acts often rely on merch sales for income, so if they sell t-shirts or CDs, CDs, you remember those? Then that's theirs. That valued is often considered his real cut. The promoter gets ticket revenue, Dead Press gets their guarantee, and Moka gets the association. So he flew all the way to France to perform in a teeny tiny venue for little or no money. But gets to have the pictures to say, hey, look at me, look how successful I am, and then he uses that to promote himself as a credible artist and blag a load of money out of vulnerable women who don't know any better. Well, now who's classless then, dickhead? But don't worry, I can say what I like. It's not like he's coming to England or something. Hang on a pip pip toodaloo, how's your father's second? Yes, indeedy, Moka is here. Well, he was when I wrote this. And you know that I had to message him and try to get him to meet me. So far, he's not replied though, which is a shame. I actually wanted to see him to see what he looked like in real life. I do think I'll be taller than him though, because he's about the same size as this crazy little van in Thailand. But I wanted a picture, maybe a little face-off picture. That would make a cool thumbnail for the video, wouldn't it? But I did wonder if he was just catching a connecting flight, hence he was going through London to get through Gatwick or Heathrow or something. But I don't know for sure. Maybe he was just here to scam some more money out of people, like this poor woman who is calling him her king. So, from what I can see, he took a whole bunch of money from a trust to set up a studio and invest into some unknowns, but scratch the surface and he's still running the same games, trying to make the same gains. But he's getting older and slower, and at some point he'll make a mistake that'll cost him more than 300k. There's no retirement from a bad reputation, and as long as I can promote those scams through these little videos, then the longer he has to dodge the doubt. So, on to our last segment of the video, and it's about the Lindsay situation. Now, here at the Manor, I like to keep it fun and try to avoid subjects that can't be laughed along with. I'm not here to rehash the Lindsay story, others have already covered it, and that's fine. What I wanted to say that there's a point where integrity meets click-seeking missiles. A lot of creators have touched on this story. It is, after all, a human interest story, and as a public figure, we have the right to criticise her. In fact, for those of us whose work borders on journalism, it is kind of expected. But I've seen a lot of people say things like, hey, look how many views, and look how many exposures we got. But I have to ask, when it comes to a sensitive subject like harm to a child, what does that actually achieve? Did anyone bring attention to the subject in general? Did we do a service to those who are suffering from these things? Or just shine a spotlight on the sensationalism of the situation? When the YouTuber Ruby Frankie business was going on, did we say, hey, check out the views? Or did we say, whoa, what's going on here? Even Lindsay's daughter put out a video and I heard all the cooing. She's got over 1 million views. Okay, and what? Did that go anywhere to help anybody? With all these millions of views, did we affect any change? Or just put change in pockets? Did those people who have dealt with A silently find something to relate to? Did we help anybody think, if she's this strong, maybe I can be too? If I could go back and see someone standing up for people, not just for themselves, maybe I would have found the strength that I yearn for, and maybe I would have known who to turn to. Because here's the thing, integrity means more than counting clicks. It means asking whether we're serving the story or serving ourselves. That if nobody's saying, hey, if you've experienced this, please reach out to somebody and here's a number that you can call, then maybe we've all missed the point entirely. Clicks might be currency, but integrity is legacy. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and thank you so much for all the things you do to support my little channel. I do hope it didn't come across a little preachy at the end there, but sometimes I just feel like I have something to say that doesn't turn out to be a joke. But to make sure you leave with a smile, here's that fan walking out the door again. So if you like what I do, then please do like, subscribe, and check out one of these little beauties. So until we meet again, stay beautiful, love to Moth3, and you take care of yourself.
Please subscribe now for our play. Thank you.